This is Marcus K. Dowling, the Nashville Country Music Reporter at the Tennessean, and I'm here at the ACM Honors with a singer, songwriter, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and also a poet, Shania Twain.
That was such a beautiful introduction. Really, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, 73 to 83, look at somebody like Dolly Parton. 83 to 93, you look at somebody like the Judds. 93 to 2003, we look at somebody like yourself. And now we look at the future and your role in that lineage. Thoughts?
I believe that if I were to consider myself having a role in that lineage.
Well, you do.
Well, I really think, I believe very sincerely that inclusion is everything.
Right.
And I make my music for the world.
Right.
So I don't see limits.
Right.
I don't see boundaries. I just see possibilities. And I'm just a cheerleader for including diversity. And, the genre, for example, when I was growing up,
Right.
we had more of what I would call diversity. We had more bluegrass, we had more soul, we had different sort of root elements in there.
Absolutely.
We had more grit,
Yes.
I think.
Oh, I certainly agree.
Things that pushed the limits a little bit more that would be considered controversial now.
Right.
And I feel that if I were to play more of a role now, I would like to try to sort of, I guess, attempt to reverse this regression that I think has happened in our genre and think more progressively. And we have all the artists to do it.
No, unquestionably.
We have all the talent to do it.
Right. So I've watched your Netflix documentary like 4 times. I'm not even embarrassed to say it. And you have Orville Peck, you have Kelsey Ballerini, you have Diplo, you have so many people who are across the spread of so many genres and interests. And they all claim your work to be at the forefront of their progression in the country. Your thoughts about that? And, just like when you look at that and you look at the breadth.
I relate to them very much. And I think that I can only say it as a huge compliment.
Right.
It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a compliment that I'm relevant to them now, and that I matter during their own development. And I know what it means to matter to someone's development. I was, my teachers were, I didn't have any formal training, so my teachers were
Right.
other artists.
Exactly.
And that was, so I was self-taught, but taking influence and inspiration from all of the artists before me. And it's just, so it can only be a compliment to be that to other artists that are now coming up.
Right. So I want to ask you a question about something that happened on that stage tonight in relation to your career. Did you have that level of pressure on you when you made your debut at the Ryman Auditorium? Tiara Kennedy, she gets on stage, this is her debut at the Ryman Auditorium, and she's singing in front of you at the ACM Honors. So, by comparison, when you did your debut at the Ryman, if you could take me into that experience.
I was so nervous, and I didn't have the composure that Tiara had.
Right?
I have to say.
It was amazing.
Yeah. And what's the fun part is that we shared the dressing room tonight before coming out into the audience, and we were talking about what to wear, and it was a very sisterly and a very supportive environment.
Right.
I just thought, I didn't have that when I was first coming into town, and I just felt, wow, we all deserve that support. And she embraced it, and it was just a really beautiful moment. So I hope she felt that when she was up there, that I was there cheering her on and giving her positive energy.
Fabulous. So, final question. Whenever I drive into Lower Broadway, at least 6 times in 5 blocks, I hear Man, I Feel Like a Woman. It's unofficially, officially the anthem of New Nashville. I want your thoughts about that, because that's kind of a crazy thing, that I drive 10 minutes and I hear one song everywhere, and everybody has the same exact response.
It's so ironic, because when I released that song, it was a very controversial
Yes, it was.
song for the Nashville community, the music community. They were very uncertain that the audience would be receptive. In fact, they thought that the audience would be offended. And my response to them was, I think you underestimate the audience.
Right.
And they did. Thankfully for me, because the audience is now speaking for themselves, and they've been speaking for themselves for all these years. And I think we have to listen more to what the fans, we need to listen more to what the fans are living in their daily lives, and what they want to hear, and what they believe, and what they think, and do our best to communicate to them through our music. That's our role.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for your time. This is Marcus K. Dowling, the Nashville Country Music Reporter of the Tennessean, here at the ACM Honors with Shania Twain. Thank you.
Thank you very much.